everybody, my name is Andy and welcome to the channel. I'm coming to you today from the back seat of my Tundra, and I really can't remember the last time I was back here. Probably the last time I was back here was, you guys don't need to know that. I'm serious. Anyway, what this video is about is I have the paperwork for the Toyota Tundra that blew the engine, and we're going to kind of go through this paperwork and tell you exactly what Toyota did to fix this engine. Now, just for the people that don't know, may have not watched my other videos, I'll try to link them at the end of the description or something like that, so y'all can go back and watch the full video of what happened. But a short little preview is my buddy had a Tundra, had like 52,000 miles on it. The engine blew on it. Some friends borrowed it and they were driving it back and the engine blew on it. You can go watch that whole video, but the long and short of it is 52,000 miles on a 5.7 Tundra and the engine blew. So he had a lifetime warranty on the drivetrain. So Toyota did fix the engine at no cost to him. I did tell about that in other videos, so that's not a surprise. No spoilers leaked out there, but they did fix it at no cost to him. And I have everything they did right here. Now, we went over thinking that they would replace the whole engine. Would they do a long block or a short block or whatever? And we speculate on that, but now we actually know, and we're going to go over it right now. So, what it says here is a CS engine locked up advised. So, I guess what they're saying is the engine locked up, detonated. Blew a hole in the side of the block, dumped all the oil out on the road. Horrible, horrible place to be. So let's see what they did. It says here, short block. And this is what all they also covered. I have a whole list of stuff here that they did, but they did a short block. We all thought they may replace the whole engine with a long block, but apparently they just did a short block. And for those of you who don't know, a short block is below the head gasket, a lot of rotating stuff in there, such as your connectors, your pistons, your crank, stuff like that. It's all the rotating stuff, and they replaced that. So what else did they do? There's a whole list of things that they did. They replaced the engine gasket kit. So everything in the engine, you have to take that whole engine apart to get down to that. So they replaced all the gaskets. Cylinder head subassembly, they did 2 of those, or that's on here twice. An intake valve, an exhaust valve, short block assembly, and there you go, it says here, they did replace the short block. They did a cylinder spacer, a straight pin, whatever the straight pin is, it just says straight pin. I don't know, there's probably a lot of just straight pins, so who knows. They did a timing cover assembly. I guess maybe they messed that up taking it out, or maybe that is actually part of the short block that comes in on it. Some short blocks come with, bits and pieces that other short blocks may not come with. Just depends on where you get it and who you buy it from. So maybe that came on it and that's why it's on here. They also replaced oil pan, flange bolt, a drive gear subassembly, a crankshaft rotor, an intake manifold assembly, 2 more flange bolts, so there's a total of 3 flange bolts, crank position sensor, a starter assembly, so they replaced the starter assembly and everything like that. And there's some part, I can't remember what it is, Scotty Kilmer talks about it, that's real hard to get to on these trucks. And I can't remember if it's the starter assembly or if it's the crankshaft. I'm not sure which one it is, but I'm not sure the crank position sensor, not the crankshaft, but the crank position sensor. It's one of those 2, so they did replace that, so you don't have to worry about it. But I've never really heard of one of them going bad anyway, so don't know what Scotty's talking about. Then they also replaced a oil pan baffle plate, an exhaust pipe gasket. Of course, they had to take the exhaust pipe loose to take the engine out. So, they didn't replace the whole exhaust. I think he still has the stock exhaust on his truck. So, of course, they had to replace the gasket when they put it back together. A valve spring lock, a heat exchanger assembly, oil seal retainer, an oil pipe assembly or sub-assembly, a packing seal, an oil pan, valve stem cap, and spark plugs. Valve stem cap. They must have noticed he was missing a valve stem cap and replaced it. I don't know. Or maybe they was missing one on the engine. Maybe it's like for your air conditioner or something like that. I don't know. But either way, you think they would have had the one that came off of it, but maybe it disintegrated. I don't know. I didn't see the engine, but they did replace the valve stem cap, and then they replaced spark plug. It only says one spark plug. Don't know why they didn't go ahead and replace all 8 when they was doing it. I can't imagine that it's that much harder to do. Usually you can change your spark plugs fairly quickly, especially when you have your engine tore down that far. Why not just go ahead and replace the other 7 for the guy that just had the engine blew? All right, so like I said, the total for this was $0. Zero. He didn't have to pay anything for this. They replaced this all free of charge, with no issues at all. Now, on the back side of this paper, it says super long life coolant. Of course, they had to replace the coolant because they took all the engine out. Let's see, a short block, talking about different bushings. They had to recharge the air conditioner and add some power steering fluid. And it says other change, and I'm sure that's like oil fluid or oil, an oil change. You know, they don't say that in here, but the one thing I would think they also say would do that they don't say in here as well is they didn't talk about cleaning out the top of the engine. You know, they just replaced everything below the head gasket. Surely they cleaned out the top of that as well, because when that thing disintegrated, you know, it threw shards of metal all over the engine, all over the internal. So, you know, surely they actually cleaned all that out and got that good and clean. It doesn't state it, but you know they did. Now, I do want to say he did go down to Louisiana and pick this truck up, and he drove it back to Tennessee. I think he went through by Myrtle Beach first and then came back. But either way, he drove it like 1,500 miles one way on the way back and had 0 issues with the truck. He does say the truck is running great. I have heard it run. It sounds quiet. There's no noises with the truck right now. It idles smooth. It does seem like they did a really good job putting this truck back together. Now, I've had people say my videos are getting long about this, and they've been complaining about it. So I'm going to leave it at that. I do want to say I will be putting a video up that'll probably be shorter than this one, probably tomorrow or something like that, or the day after, about he had an issue with it and had to take it back. So if you're watching this video, you know, go to the next video about this series and see why he had to take it back. I don't want to say if it was a major issue or minor issue. I'm going to leave y'all with that cliffhanger right here, because I know y'all are wanting to know about this 52,000 mile Tundra that detonated, but Toyota did the right thing. They did fix it. I thought they would do a long block. They did a short block, but either way, the truck is fixed. It's running good. He has no issues with it, except for that one that he had to take it back for. So stay tuned for that. Cliffhanger, sorry. It's going to happen, but you'll have to stay tuned and watch the next video to see why he had to take it back, how long it took him to fix it, and what was wrong with it to start with. You're not going to believe it. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.